Thank you, Kristen. Well, certainly fighting gang crime is certainly a nonstop effort here in Northwest Indiana, and David Capp, as the U.S. Attorney, is at the forefront of that fight. And Mr. Capp, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, last week, Mr. Capp, you came out with a couple of indictments, including one this week also of witness intimidation, a couple of cases with that. How prevalent is witness intimidation in Northwest Indiana in cases such as this?
It's definitely a problem that unfortunately my state counterparts probably deal with more. One of the strengths we have in the federal system that the state doesn't, unfortunately, is we've got the ability to hold a lot of these guys without bond. Okay. And that in and of itself, I think, goes a long way to eliminating, we arrest them, they're not going back on the streets. They're not going to be able to attempt to intimidate witnesses. But what we had happen last week was while we made an arrest of Mr. Anton James, who we allege is a Latin king involved in a homicide. We arrested him. He's being held without bond. He's not getting back on the streets. But we started getting information that some of his family members were attempting to interfere with and intimidate one of our principal witnesses. We indicted his mother, arrested her. She has been detained without bond. And 2 days ago, we arrested the sister for similar conduct, and her bond hearing is coming up.
Well, let me ask you this. There are different forms of intimidation we do know, especially now with social media out there. What constitutes intimidation?
Well, I don't want to give a specific hypothetical because every case we have to evaluate on its individual facts. But you mentioned the social media, and I will say that that is a new dimension to this, that we are hearing things about, for example, threats on the social media. You do this, we're going to blast your name out on the social media. Those could definitely be part and parcel of witness intimidation.
Are there cases where witnesses are intimidated where they feel that they won't go forward with testimony against an individual?
Oh, sure, yeah. And as I said, unfortunately, it probably happens more with in the state system, but it definitely happens. You have people that are just understandably, genuinely afraid to come forward. What I try to do is tell people that, we can protect them, we can protect their families. We've got a lot of resources in the federal system to do that.
Real quick, what are some of the best ways to fight this?
Well, I think some of the best ways to fight it are twofold. Number one, there are certain individuals that have to be off the streets and stay off the streets. We are doing that. In the past 3 years, we've gotten 58 violent individuals off the streets of Chicago, Hammond, and Gary, all of whom were members of violent street gangs or closely connected to them. So that's part of it.
Well, Mr. Capp, we know this is an issue that's not going to go away, and you're going to stay on top of it. I would like to thank the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Indiana for joining me here on Lakeshore Report. Mr. Capp, thank you.
Thanks for having me, Mike.